Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly shop steward today, because today we're carrying on with our ongoing campaign playing Paizo Publishing's outstanding, I got it buried down here, fantasy RPG Pathfinder 2nd edition, the remastered edition now. Which we are playing in our custom setting of the Spires of Paridar, a setting of occult conspiracy, class disparity, and industrial progress. With me today are the stars of the Spires of Paridar campaign, the Illuminators themselves. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing today? First up, we've got Sean.
Hey, I'm playing Golag, son of Doc. He is an orc witch detective.
Very nice. Next up is James.
And I'm Sally Dumer, and I'm the ancient scale Azarketi martial artist detective.
Nice.
She's not very monk-like. But
Next up is Ingolf.
Yeah, I'm Ingolf. I'm playing Basil Rathbone, who is an Isoki investigator.
Nice.
And no martial artist, for sure.
And with the least amount of hit points, as we've learned again today. So by a significant margin.
Sally can run up walls now. So
oh, very nice. Last, but certainly not least, is Darren.
Hello, yeah, I am playing Dr. Adam Ersprung, who is a created flesh warp inventor, and he's still without Igor.
Yeah, geez, that to-do list is just getting longer and longer. So, guys, this is now part one of we're flowing through from the conclusion, or kind of quasi-conclusion, of our last mystery into our next mystery. This is the Spires of Paridar, Queen of the Veiled Sun now. What do you guys recall having happened last time? It was a very chatty session. I have some visual aids to assist here, too.
There was a lot of chatting with Mr. Harker.
That is true. And who is Mr. Harker?
He's Golag's mate. He's
Mating is definitely involved in this.
He's a friend of Golag's mother.
Yes, it's Golag's mother's lover. So,
a bit of rough.
Yeah. What do you guys recall having learned from Mr. Harker last time?
Yeah, it was a lot of talk with him. He wants to get back to Golag's mother. He's been gone for quite a few years. Was it 10? No, 15 years, I think. He's been gone. And he seems to have lost his memory up until, or his memory of Golag's mother and where he came from up until recently, when Miss Carrington was looking into these murders that have been going on around the city, where a number of, what would you call them, tattoos or symbols on bodies similar to what Golag's got, and we think it's some sort of shadow magic or things like that. So yeah, that's what's brought it back to his attention, and he came looking for Golag to see if he would be able to help with him getting back to see what's happened to his mother, who was, I don't know if had she managed to get back on the throne, or was she trying to get back on the throne? She was having a run-in with this Sunslayer guy. I can't remember which way around it was.
I think she was on the throne.
She managed to get back on the throne, but yeah, she'd been having this ongoing battle with this character, Sunslayer character.
Mm-hmm.
But we think that these murders may be linked to this other place that this guy's come from, just because of the tattoos and the shadow magic. He called them shadow binders, I think. He called Golag and his mother a shadow binder. So he thinks some sort of assassin has come through from his world and carrying out these murders. So there was a lot of chat with him. near the end, I received a letter from Dr. Ravencroft's daughter, Evelyn.
Yep.
Requesting a meeting. That was about it. Most of the session was talking with Mr. Harker, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Golai, do you recall anything further about what Mr. Harker had revealed?
That I think he said that the Queen of the Veiled Sun needed my help. He actually kind of made that affirmative statement, right? And that that Zorak, the Sunslayer, gifted Shadowbinder, claims to have veiled the sun. Harker helped battle him in the war in Zashun.
Yeah, the eldest citadel at Zashun.
Mm-hmm. Darren may have said this, but you said, Darren, that he was attacked by a man, right? That Harker was attacked? Like,
Yep.
Yeah, that was a long while ago. Yeah, that was
a while ago.
That was when he first arrived, I think.
No, that was actually, he had been here for, like you
recently?
said, 15. It was around 2 years ago when he was attacked.
Oh, yeah, no.
And then there was a connection with Golag's father from around that first attack, but then it slipped his mind once again.
The Minister of Security had come snooping around about that time, about the time of the man that attacked him, and that the man that attacked him pretty clearly was from the Veiled Lands, he thought, because he found a damaged obsidian rose in a case that has now fallen apart.
Yeah.
That he thought was part of the whole, probably transport between dimensions, between planes. See anything else? He was in shipping and trading, had done quite well.
Yep.
He's from Coalpunk.
That's right. He's not from Paridar originally. He's from a place called Coalpunk, similar to Paridar, but quite different.
And Coalpunk is mundane, right? It's on our plane. Is how
you guys actually have no idea where Coalpunk is.
Okay. But the issue here is to get out of Paridar anyway. We wouldn't be able to. The issue is not necessarily to get to the Veiled Lands, right? We kind of chatted about that. I think that it wasn't so much the difficulty of getting to the Veiled Lands as much perhaps even than getting outside of Paridar.
Correct. He said, like, he has recollections of Coalpunk, knowing that he's in a different place, but no one else seems to know about it here. And he has no idea how to get back there. And then a thing he has recently remembered is that there is a tendency to turn your mind from such questions in Paridar.
But there was one other connection between the two cities, was the Spires. He said that they had Spires.
They did.
Where he came from.
They have
And
Spires.
we think they might be acting as some sort of gateway, maybe?
So you guys didn't ask about Coalpunk specifically, but if you're saying that, if you're asking whether there is in Coalpunk and whether there is in the Orc Lands, there's in both. In the Veiled Lands, there are obsidian spires, and in Coalpunk, there are iron spires. And there are white stone spires in Paridar.
So I think some tasks we discussed was to look into, Sir Archibald is apparently missing.
Yep.
So whether we want to make any inquiries into that, a meeting with my father, show Harker the painting of me, perhaps a meeting with the reporter Carrington.
Do you recall why you guys wanted to meet with Carrington?
She was involved. She was she came around during the attack, didn't she? She ran a story on it or something.
She's looking into the 7 bodies and who's been carrying them out, because this guy, Mr. Harker, thinks it was an orc. he did say he thought it was an orc sent by the Sunslayer, and that's where I think Barnabas Steele's been, you know, wanting to speak to Golag, and sort of he's got his suspicions that Golag might be involved. Maybe that's the connection potentially.
Do you recall?
But yeah, she's looking into it.
Sorry, do you recall what other commonality there is among the bodies?
Well, the tattoos and the symbols, the patterns, similar to Golag's. What else?
Where are the bodies now?
Oh, they've all gone now.
Yeah,
that's
they've
true.
all.
Yeah, they all became undead.
They all dug themselves out, didn't they?
Correct.
They weren't,
At the
they
exact
weren't
same
dug
time.
up. They all sort of dug themselves out and walked off. It seems.
Yeah.
And we don't know for what purpose, or and there's no reports, right, of what they did after that. They dug themselves out, and we don't know to what end.
Nothing
I think
further.
that's fairly recent, isn't it?
It is. And that's what led. It was those strange, series of bodies coming out of the graves that led Carrington to put all of this together and approach Harker.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were. So we'd also discussed possibly trying to investigate the notes on the autopsies of the murdered corpses at the city coroner Reed's office.
Yeah.
And maybe freshen up with Professor Foles about the painting in the among the project of showing it to Harker, perhaps too.
Invest the king, maybe. Seeing where she's getting her inspiration from.
Yeah.
You also
the
have
paintings.
dinner with Dr. Badwell tomorrow evening. So, I believe that covers everything that happens. So, a bit of a full plate. Assuming that nothing is getting done this evening, what are you guys planning on doing tomorrow? Or is there something you wish to do this evening?
I think it's quite late, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Time for a nap.
Yeah.
Yeah, hadn't we already discussed where everyone wanted to go? I think I was heading out with Adam and so on. So
Yeah, I think Sally was going to try and see Miss Carrington. I think Golag was going to try and see his father or start that process because it's probably not that easy. I think me and Basil were going to speak to Watson Fole or Vesta King or both potentially.
Okay.
And maybe the coroner as well.
And what about your appointment with Ms. Ravencroft?
So that was the afternoon, wasn't it? So I'm going to try and have an early start and try and fit in as much as we can.
Okay. So then, anything further you guys wish to discuss before you set in for the evening? Tucking into either bed or a bath, as the case may be.
no, I mean I checked that we weren't spied upon last time, so I guess this might even now be the case, and there's no interruption in the meantime. So I don't know why we shouldn't be able to sleep well, I suppose. At least for one night. There's no evil, I don't know, tulpa or something like that haunting us.
Okay.
Except in our nightmares, I suppose.
Even in your nightmares, just curious, your dream, Basil, from before.
Yeah. I still have this ring. I mean, it's in my pocket for strange reasons. It's not that far.
Okay. So it is a evening with fitful dreams for both Golag and for Basil.
Do we know about the ring? The rest of us know about the ring?
I don't know if
I think I talked about it because I
Everyone's
was
worried
talking...
about Golag not being able to give up the painting, but what about Basil giving up that ring?
He didn't call it precious, did he?
I'm asking. It's a question, you know? It's just a question.
he does keep it on him at all times, it seems, too.
Yeah.
Curious. Okay. No, I'm just asking. Okay.
And it's not like the enemy that Paridar fought during its Great War was a nation influenced by hags.
Mm-hmm.
No, it is not. I mean, the war has ended. I mean, come on. It is now. Let's forget about the war.
Here we go.
Yeah. And I haven't sold my soul yet. Let me put it this way.
All right. So then, with a uneasy sleep, Golag and Basil, you join everyone else for breakfast. A little weary looking the following day. What order would you guys like to play out our next day of investigations?
Who's likely to be up first, I guess? Is Miss Carrington a early starter, or?
I mean, she's a newspaper reporter, so probably burning the midnight oil and early to work.
Yeah, maybe she would be about early.
Yeah, but that is of no consequence if Sally is sleeping late.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Little zizzing noises from inside the bathtub.
So, who would like to go first?
I think we all are most eager to find out what happens with Golag and his father. At least I am. So.
Yeah, we'll do that. Then I'll go see Miss Carrington once Golag solved his daddy issues.
Okay. So, Golag, are you intending... Sylvan notices that you're a little listless in the morning, Golag, and inquires, did you sleep well, sir?
Much to think about with yesterday's visitor, Sylvan. Much to think about, much to do. And, let's discuss with my father, perhaps.
Prospective client, sir.
Indeed. Seems quite likely. Need to see about a meeting with father today. At least look into it. See if I can get that ball rolling.
And where is it you would wish to meet your father, sir?
I'm open. I mean, I usually meet
Skulldug.
Looking for his name. Skulldug. I usually meet Skulldug at the Tuscan Tankard. Something like that. Tankard of the Tuscan.
Yeah, so that's... If you want him to send like word to Skulldug, he could probably do that. But you typically, Skulldug does spend it's his hangout, so that's sort of where you've been regularly meeting him. And before the Topol machine was destroyed, the last time you tried to meet with him, he was not there, and they pretended they didn't know who he was. But that was before the Topol machine.
Right.
So
yeah, I'll try that. I'll try it. We'll go back to that, the tried and true of the channel.
Okay.
Heaven forbid I call my father direct.
Yeah.
I will...
Okay. So then, we... Well, could I suppose back to the Tuscan Tankard? Let me move this down a scooch. There we go. And These are old tokens. Boom. There is... Whoop. What the heck? There we go. All right. So, as you approach the Tuscan tankard, it's, early morning, so it's really only the dedicated, alcoholics who are hanging around here.
Not to mention that suspicious guy in the roof right there.
I don't pay heed to that.
Pay
I'm sure.
no
I'm sure it
attention.
means nothing.
Indeed.
Nothing at all. Mostly nothing. Almost nothing. Okay, it means a bit, but very little. Then it means a lot. It's good that you spotted that. I'm so sorry that the campaign has to end this way, but that escalated very quickly. Now, would you when you make your way in, what you see is it is unsurprisingly this early in the day quite slow. There's like aged, retired orcs that are hanging out in here, who are talking to one another, and half orcs among them as well. But otherwise, there's almost no one in here. The publican will look up and, afternoon, sir. He's an orc as well.
Good afternoon. I am interested in knowing, Mr. You expect Skulldug today?
Who's that then?
Skulldug. Now, before Kevin, I would expect him to immediately know who that was.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
And so this is behavior from immediately that he's doing this.
Exactly. Yeah. You can give us a perception check as well. I was going to say an insight roll, but that isn't a skill in this game.
Let's see here. Perception check.
I'm fairly certain I'm going to request skill checks that don't exist in this game later, but caught the first one. Okay, so that you need not, there's absolutely no question in your mind this guy's lying. He's putting on, obviously this fella knows who you are and who knows who Skulldug is. It's the same rigmarole you went through last time you were here.
I say, well, this fellow that you claim not to know, if you see him, tell him that Golag, his old colleague Golag, would like a word, as we have many times in the past.
And who's Golag, sir? He knows precisely who you are.
Yeah. I see. There's just deliver the message, and I'll depart.
And he throws the rag over his shoulder. So for a customer, I wouldn't mind doing something like that. Person coming in off the street, he's just asking me to do something for nothing. And a fella dressed as well as you asking for a favor, I guess can afford to pay for such services.
That was the plan before the denial of knowing who I was discussing. That was indeed the plan, and what I have always done when you behaved like you used to behave. But fine, I will take a tankard.
Have you been here before, sir? And you can tell from the smirk in his mouth like he's just enjoying this far too much.
A tankard, please.
Indeed, sir. So he pulls a drink for you, puts it down. You get the same vibe here that you did before. Like everyone, you're looking over, like the old guys who are always here when you're here, they kind of look away. It seems as if people, somehow everyone here has gotten the message of like, you're persona non grata for right now. Not that they're angry at you. Like that was a good perception roll. It's not that they're pissed at you or that you're being shunned. It's as if like, oh God, I can't talk to you kind of stuff.
The words come down.
Precisely.
I'll have the tankard at the bar in a place where everyone can see me.
Okay. So you finish your drink. Another, sir. Some food, perhaps.
I'll have a little food. I'll spend a minor bit of time here, so I'll have a bit of food.
Okay. Brings you some stew, brings you another pint. It just seems as if this is, they're sticking to the line that, they don't know who you are and they don't know who Skulldug is and whatever. Typically, I imagine you would stay longer because it's not like he's always here, and this is quite early in the day. Do you wish to wait a couple of hours to allow time for him to, for word to get to Skulldug and then return, or?
Yeah, why not? I guess I'll try it.
So if you're going to go and settle in, then we'll leave you in that scene for now, and we'll come back. What is everyone else doing with their mornings?
Having entirely alcohol-free breakfast.
Yep.
Yeah. I think I'm Adam didn't stay at our office, I suppose, so I guess I will visit him at the clinic, and then we can start from there.
So you arrive at the Bearhead Mission, and you can see that they're already early in the morning. There are folks who are showing up to have their meetings with one of the physicians on duty. Dr. Ersprung, are you taking a shift on the ward? Or are you still leaving it to the others, to Dr. Risewell and...
Probably just catching up. I still want to have a word with Cyrus at some point. Okay. And I'd have probably just started trying to work on Igor a bit. It's just a bit more space, because I've got a bit more room downstairs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'd a bit of that during the night. So, yeah.
So one thing to recall in the pre-Tulpa machine world, Dr. Risewell did confront you about your priorities with respect to the clinic.
Yep. I did want to speak to Cyrus.
Just the one? Yeah, there we go. So you'll catch Cyrus is sort of, the laborer in his laborer role right now, and you have not, kidnapped anybody that he's got to keep an eye on or bring anyone by. So he comes up. Hello, Doctor. Sorry.
Just the man I wanted to speak to. Can we have a word?
Of course, Doctor. Of course. And he just
sort of
resets something that's going to, make sure that something isn't tipping over. Steps outside. What can I do for you this fine morning?
I'll take him into one of the rooms, whatever, just so we got a little bit of privacy.
Sure.
I'll say, if you could take a seat, I just wanted to discuss something with you.
Takes his cap off and he sits down. Yes, sir. I'm not in trouble, am I?
Well, I do need to have a word.
Cool.
I think I'm going to have
joking.
I think I'm going to have to look at getting a replacement for you.
Well, Calder kind of leaves his face. Doctor, if there's something I've done, you can see his hands are shaking a little bit.
And I'll get up and I'll go over. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist. I'm only joking. I want to get a replacement for you because I want to give you more responsibility around here, and I'm looking to promote you.
There's this stunned silence from Cyrus for a moment. Oh, Struth! You had me going there, Doctor. He hops up and he shakes your hand and kind of gives you a hug. I thought you were going to let me go. I'm not sure I could handle being made redundant in this. Oh, you had me going, Doctor. What? More responsibility. You have judged the right man for that, sir. I am ready and willing to take on more and whatever you feel is necessary. He emphatically puts his hat back on. What would you have me do, Doctor? I am at your disposal.
Well, Obviously, we've got our doctors looking after our patients, and we've got Betty dealing with making appointments and those sort of things, making appointments and reception, as we want to call it. But I need a manager. I need someone to manage the clinic. So I need someone who's going to recruit new staff, look at raising funds for the clinic, any sort of charity work or talking to people. I need someone to look after security, supplies, everything really. I need someone who's going to step up and take the control of day-to-day stuff.
As you're listing more and more things for him to be responsible for, you can see the look of terror is increasing.
Yeah. But we'll do this step by step, obviously.
Hat comes off again. That is a heavy burden, sir. But trust you, my shoulders can handle it.
So you'll have our support from the rest of the clinic. I know you can do it.
He looks down at his... I think, sir... You think that, them suit makers, what make Mr. Goleg's outfits, you think they've got last season's discounts on things? If I'm going to be manager, I can't very well be looking like I'm a stevedore, can I?
I'm sure we can sort something out. I'm sure that won't be a problem.
Oh.
And obviously a pay rise as well.
I had a feeling that this morning was going to be eventful. I did not have any inkling of what was going to come down my way. Doctor, hat goes back on. You can rely on me. And his hands out with as much emphasis as he can muster.
Yeah, and I shake his hand. So, first thing I'd ask you to do is find someone who can do as good a job as you at what you're currently doing, so that then you can step up and take on some of these new responsibilities.
I will do just that, Doctor. Leave it to me. I'll find someone twice as reliable as me.
I doubt that, but you can try.
He realizes he's somewhat insulted himself with that, but indeed, Doctor. Thank you. Thank you. As you're leaving the clinic, you, I think, run into Dr. Risewell once again. And he is, dressed in his medical scrubs, or not the scrubs, but like the things he'd be wearing for making the rounds. And Cyrus goes by and he, doffs his cap to Dr. Risewell and heads on. Dr. Risewell looks at you. He was quite animated this morning. I trust all is well?
Yes, I've had a conversation, and yes, I'm hoping he's going to step up and take on some more responsibilities, as you suggested, quite rightly.
He kind of looks at, on a automaton's face, it's tough to gauge, befuddlement. So I imagine it's kind of like a dog where, the head kind of goes sideways. My memory must be going, Doctor. I have been thinking such a thing of late, but I must have forgotten discussing it. I'm very pleased to hear, Doctor. I think Cyrus will do excellent, and I am happy to assist him in whatever capacity that he feels is beyond his expertise or experience.
Yes, I'm sure he will be looking to you and the others for advice as he grows into his new position, but I'm sure he will step up. I have every confidence.
I'm very pleased to hear. And you. I know you were working on one of your investigations of late. Has that resolved?
Yes, everything worked out in the end, and we're on to the next, as always.
I see. So we should keep you out of the rotation for ward work for the foreseeable future.
Unfortunately, that is probably the case, but I will look in as much as I can, and you know where to get word to me, should you need to.
Indeed. Doctor, I did have another idea. If... When he looks at his things, perhaps we could speak at another time, but it involves... Well, have you considered outreach to the medical school?
I hadn't. You mean the students and the...
Indeed. If we are looking for other hands to help engendering a charitable drive in young physicians before they take on their task, can be quite beneficial.
Yes, a kind of work experience, I guess, almost.
And an experience working with those with whom they would be unlikely to acquaint themselves in the course of the other aspects of their lives.
Yes, if you could maybe mention that to Cyrus later. See if he could look into it when he gets a chance.
I was thinking more of reaching out to former colleagues, Doctor. I have colleagues who still serve as instructors at the university, and perhaps I am not certain what transpired between you and Dr. Raycroft, but it does appear as he is not as vocal a champion of the clinic as he once was. I think perhaps there is an opportunity for another to step up and fulfill that role.
Well, if you've got anyone in mind, I'm fully behind any initiative you come up with that will help the clinic.
I will informally approach them and then share any plans more solidified with you and of course with Cyrus before making any commitments.
Sounds excellent. Good work as always.
And you, Doctor. A pleasure. Good morning. And he
Morning.
Goes into the next clinic, opens the door, closes the door. Basil, this is around when Dr. Ursprung would come out, and you'd see Basil sitting. Basil, do you chat with Mary while you are waiting? Or, because I think you guys have known each other for a couple of years now.
Yeah. I will certainly. I will chat with anyone. No. I mean, the thing is, I want to know how the world has changed. So I will have to check my knowledge at every instance just to remember. It's like a little bit annoying. You still have two sons? Yes. Why are you asking this?
Are you suggesting that one of them should have died? What? So yeah, you come out and you can see Basil is doing his thing too, where he's looking at things. Was there always two paintings on that wall? And it was always so Mary comes out and Doctor. You see, Mary is talking to Cyrus as well too. Cyrus comes out. You would hear the good news that Cyrus has to share. I think what you would hear is the very noisy, exuberant Betty. Sorry, not Mary. That's changed, I guess. Everyone gets a hero point, by the way. So, Cyrus has just kind of left off to try and find, I guess, someone. Mary turns to you, Doctor, as you walk in and says, big news for Cyrus, I see.
Yes, I think it's about time. think he's done a good job and is a reliable chap.
I think it is good for him to be putting his energy into something like this.
Indeed.
Good. I was just chatting with Basil.
Yes, we were. Yeah, indeed.
Indeed. You still have not taken time to take in the Starfall, have you? Starfall is what you recall them calling. You may remember every night there was this crazy shooting stars that happen, and even this late into the summer, there's still folks who are making events of it over the evening.
No.
I thought
Always
I would have.
busy.
I was half thinking I'd have to hang a rug on my window last evening. It was so bright.
Yes.
Doctor, are you... I take it with Basil here, you are gone for the day?
Yes, we have got a new investigation underway, unfortunately. But as always, I will try and check in as often as I can.
Very good. Are you not bringing Igor with you?
A small mishap on our last investigation. I'm having to do some work on him in the basement. He's not quite ready yet.
I see. Should Cyrus arrange for further supplies then?
Spares are always useful, yes.
Having a 6.5 foot tall flesh warp look as sheepish as I'm sure you do. She says, very well. We have budgeted for this, Doctor, so I'll see that the shelves are full once again after you have emptied them.
Yeah, he's sort of a bit embarrassed, sort of, thank you, and turns to join Basil.
So, the two of you turn. As far as you can tell, Basil, everything does seem to be as you remember it.
Have you made Betty head nurse yet?
Well, she's almost the only nurse.
Yeah,
Sort of
I think.
receptionist, nurse, a bit of everything, like everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still working on getting more staff. Dr. Risewell's got ideas that might help us in the future.
So, where are you two heading?
I think Morgan Watson Fowle would be the first one, and then Wester King, if we can get to her. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, what about the coroner? Do we need to...
Yeah, we can go for the coroner as well, but there was something else we wanted from Watson Fowle, not only about the conjuration, but also something else that I forgot.
He's been looking at the paintings, hasn't he?
Yes, he's been looking at the paintings, and I think just I don't know. It seems like I have to be at the university sooner or later, and maybe I have this certain I don't know, some coin or some things I used in a case I have someone to get this.
He has a fan that he needs to service.
So, for strange reasons, Basil is very keen on going to the university first.
Okay.
Very well. So you will pick up and head to the university. We'll leave you guys traveling to the university. And Sally, where are you headed this morning?
I was going to be heading to Miss Carrington's office.
Okay. So that will be probably... Let's use this one here. I don't know if I scrolled down at some point or what. but all the illustrations all the pages that we typically use are just a little bit off, and the tokens are a little offside, so I'm not sure if I did something. Perhaps the world in the game actually changed as well. So, you guys Sally, you make your way down early to the, I think it's the Paridar Times, right? Is the reputable newspaper.
Yeah, not the Daily Mail.
Exactly. You arrive, and what you can see is it seems as if the bullpen where everyone is working is quite busy. Everyone's getting ready for their either their morning assignments or their whatever. It seems like you've just missed the morning editorial meeting with everything, and you do manage to catch Ms. Carrington talking to a colleague and getting ready to... She has the look like she's got her coat on, she's got her bag with her, and her, not casebook, but a notebook and pen and whatever with her. If you choose to be noticed, you will be. If you choose not to be, you will not be. Because you are certainly good enough at hiding or being conspicuous. What would you like? For her to see you, or do you want to come upon her unawares?
I will be seen.
Okay. So she catches you out of the corner of your eye when you were standing there, and then her eyes kind of, light up, and she finishes talking to her colleague, and she waves at you. Good morning, Miss Dumer.
Miss Carrington.
Are you alone?
Lovely to see you again. Yes, just
You
coming
as
by
well.
myself.
What brings you to our business?
Well, I was wondering if my group could help you, and you could maybe help us on a most mysterious matter.
He looks around. Something to be discussed here, or perhaps
Somewhere with less flappy ears, I think.
I know a breakfast cafe. Please come. She chit chats with you for a little bit as you guys are going out to give you, something to talk about, but not, nothing to force you to talk about whatever you were wanting to talk to her about. Go down to the main floor. You make your way over to the a nearby place. You can see there's a fair bit of reporters that are here as well, but everyone is kind of conspicuously sitting at a different cafe table. It seems as if she's a regular here because the waiter seems to know precisely what she wants. They offer you whatever you would like for breakfast as well. And then I'm assuming kippers are involved in some capacity for Ms. Dumer.
Oh, yes, indeed.
She sits
Nothing like a
down
nice kipper.
and she holds up her notebook and she says, something on the record or not?
For now, off. But maybe in time there'll be something for you to put on the record.
She places her notebook down. What can I assist you with?
Well, last night we had a most mysterious visitor.
That does seem quite common with you.
Yes. It can get a little tedious, I admit. It's rather a busy living room, it has to be said. Yeah, but this one, rather than trying to actually assault us or anything, actually came with some interesting information. A man somehow involved, as it were, in dear old Golag, Mr. James Harker.
Mr. Harker, indeed. I came across Mr. Harker. Oh, I trust he told you how we became acquainted.
He did indeed. He did indeed. So I was, this story of these murders and the bodies disinterring themselves, and I was wondering if you could tell us more, because I think this is something we should look into, and maybe you can help us with some clues, and in return, maybe we can give you some scoop if we find out more.
Indeed. I have not yet published anything on this, so I would ask that you keep this between us. This is a story in the making, but it is at the risk of repeating what Mr. Harker may have repeated, and in the interest of avoiding any misconceptions on his part, what I found was in a single evening, we had several bodies seemingly raise at the same time. I believe this is Kev. It's 7, wasn't it? It was 7 bodies?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
7 seemingly unconnected murder victims, all seemingly murdered in the same ritualistic manner, all raised the same evening. On review of the archives for the times, I have found that not only are the markings on these bodies similar to those of your colleague and employer, which I have seen in person, it appears that they are similar to the markings of an assailant who attacked Mr. Harker. The curious thing is that Mr. Harker acted as if he did not remember that assault transpiring 2 years prior.
It is really rather bizarre. I mean, I know that everybody's got rather a poor memory in these parts, but
What do you
would
mean?
think that being... Well, people seem to have very little knowledge of history of Paridar.
So that's actually something you probably wouldn't, unless you were keeping it in your mind, it's something that just kind of slips away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like you might, because otherwise that would be a thing that would be dominating your thoughts all the time, right? You'd be constantly gaslit by it, but it's just one of those things where I think because of your meeting with Harker yesterday, you probably have that in your mind, and perhaps there's something that you're thinking of your homeland. Because you don't know, you have no earthly idea how to get there.
Home water.
Home water, forgive me.
It's a bit culturally insensitive of you.
Yeah, exactly. It comes from my, land-based bias. I do apologize. What you, so if you say that, she nods as if it does seem there is a curious affliction, it seems, among some who are not from here originally. I do not know whether that... Do you think that relates to this mystery?
Well, he and I are both from other parts, but we're a bit hazy on the details. But anyway, probably nothing to worry about. But strange nonetheless that he would have forget being assaulted. It's the sort of thing that would stick in one's mind.
Oh, indeed. Stranger, too, it was not simply the markings that made me think of Mr. Golag. It appears the reporter who did look into this before, the initial reporting on it did indicate not only the interest of the constabulary, but also the Ministry of Internal Security, and in an advisory role, the work of Golag's father.
My goodness.
Indeed.
All the sinister organizations of the city.
All those with interests, with the interests of the status quo in mind, assuredly. But it seems that apart from that, what was initially a, not front page, but page 2 story of an attack on a notable member of the business class, there's only one follow-up article on it, commenting on it being an ongoing mystery, and it seems as if it was not pursued anything further. I have yet to determine. Typically, unclaimed bodies will end up in a potter's field, but there is typically a trail, some documentation to suggest where that would go. It seems that that body never arrived in the potter's field and was diverted. Today, I'm going to speak to someone who was associated with the 9th Medical Corps at the time.
Oh.
And I hope to learn from them what happened with this body. But I trust I need not expand for you what the 9th Medical Corps, what their interest may be in this unusual corpse, in particular in light of these developments.
You think they might reveal things to you, this 9th Medical Corps? They seem rather
This is someone formerly associated with them. And she smiles at you and kind of there's a little sparkle in her eye. I have my ways.
Indeed, indeed. Is there anything else that struck you about these murders? Was there anything... You said they were unconnected. You were unable to find any link?
The link between them seems to be the common way in which they were mutilated and then the manner in which they were murdered. The connection between the individuals, though, at best is tenuous and only seemingly between 2 or 3. Connections that do not run true across all 7 victims.
And without getting into too many gory details so soon after breakfast, but how were these murders committed?
Oh, and she takes a bite of her pastry. I have a strong stomach, Ms. Dumer, as I'm sure you do. They were all murdered with, it seems, the same jagged knife. A curious cut on them. Jagged, but incredibly sharp. Surgical steel, one would think, if it was not for the markings and the irregular nature of the incisions. A enchanted blade of some kind, perhaps, or something of an unconventional material. You could give us a occultism roll if you'd like, Ms. Dumer.
Let me just get that up. My mouse will play.
I think I saw the cats running around in the back there, so I think your mouse is long gone.
No, ain't no mouse coming in here. Occultism. Now I've actually got some, so that's quite good.
There you go. You satisfied with that, or you want to re-roll?
No, I'll try re-rolling. I
mean, that's a pretty good roll.
Okay.
Like remember, your average at your level. You guys are level 8 now?
Yep.
Who the fuck let that happen? Jeez. 24 is your average roll.
Okay, well, let's try. Give it a go.
Okay.
No. Oh, well.
Okay, what were you thinking? I interrupted you when I asked you for a roll.
But it's at least interesting to know that it was a blade rather than something of a beast or such like.
It was the same blade that seems to have then been used to trace the ritual markings, the mutilations, not dissimilar to Mr. Golag's scarring.
And the assailant was an orc as well, I hear.
That is correct. Who did you hear that from?
Mr. Harker as well. His memory isn't entirely defective.
Oh, sorry. Did you mean to speak of the individual who attacked Mr. Harker, or the one who has been attacking the victims?
Oh, yes, the one who was attacking the victims. That you thought that it was potentially an orc.
Have you spoken to anyone at the Order of St. Sylvester?
Not yet, no.
It appears...
Would that be a suitable place to pursue one's inquiries?
Have you made the acquaintance of Sir Barnabas Steele yet?
Yes, I have indeed. Slightly tiresome man, but still.
Mr. Steele seems to have a... It was a colleague of his who shared the information with me. But he
indeed.
seems quite certain that your employer is involved in this.
Yes, because that was Sir Archibald, correct? Sir Archibald?
Archibald Morgan is your other
Yep.
friend.
Yep, but it was him that... Yep.
I'm aware. Do you mention Archie to her?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I'm
Was
not...
that his colleague?
I believe that is one of the individuals. That is one of the Knights of St. Sylvester, but I have not spoken to him.
No. Well, I think it's unlikely that...
Do you have a friendly contact? Are you on friendly terms with this Sir Archibald?
Sort of. Yeah, but it's been a long time since we've spoken.
If so, perhaps he might have further insight. It required a great deal of my charm to get the information I needed about Sir Barnabas. And if you have... The Order of St. Sylvester is notoriously reluctant to share their information, particularly when on one of their hunts. If you have information or have a way of accessing further, I would appreciate knowing whatever Sir Archibald could share.
If I find anything from him, I shall let you know.
And on the record.
Insofar as he's willing, yes.
Good. Then, what else did Mr. Harker have anything further to share?
I think it was... I mean, you've talked about how the bodies had raised themselves, but was there no clues as to where they went? Surely there'd be... Very strange. Indeed. Well, that's the thing with mysteries. They are strange.
Indeed. And I suspect if we knew where they were headed, we might have some insight. It seems that each of the rituals, at least the initial impression was that they were mutilated for a reason, for some purpose as yet unknown. Orcish rituals and incantations, invocations are poorly known, it seems. But now we question whether it was simply to animate these bodies, and if so, why go to such elaborate lengths to simply achieve something that more direct necromantic rituals might achieve.
Exactly. It does seem a lot of work for a few thralls.
Indeed.
Hmm.
In any event, I have a meeting with a veteran. Is there anything further I could assist with
No,
for
no.
now?
Well, if you can find anything more that might help us in progressing this, please do let us know, and in return, I will look to give you things on the record as we near the solution.
Okay.
But please do be careful with this messing with this 9th Medical Corps.
She grins. You sound like my wife. And she pays for the meal and then turns and leaves. Good day, Mr. Mayor, she says as she is leaving.
Take care.
Okay. We're already at our mid-session break, guys. Why don't we take our mid-session break now, then we'll come back and check back in on GoLag. So for those listening at home, we'll be back in about 5 minutes. All right. Hey, everybody in chat. Hope you're having a great weekend thus far. Happy Sunday. Okay. So, let us return to the Tusk and Tankard. And Golag. Several hours have passed now. I believe you've eaten about as much stew as one orc can be expected to eat. And you've managed to keep your pint consumption to a sufficient level to justify your continued presence, but not to risk intoxication. It's around 1 o'clock when you see an orc comes in, runs over to the publican, and kind of, over the bar leans in and says something to him. The publican immediately looks over at you, and then whoever this fella is, who you recognize as one of the employees of the Paridar Detecting Agency, he then turns and runs out the door. And the publican crosses the bar and walks over to your table. I think it might be time for you to go. But he looks outside at where I assume you've parked your motorized carriage.
Mm-hmm.
You best be careful, son.
you know from who?
Can I say, you just best be on your watch.
Very well. If you'd deliver that message, that'd be great, that I had mentioned earlier. Now that I've bought my tankards.
I will do. The look on his face is a little sheepish. Like, you could tell he's not... Whatever news he heard, it now makes him feel a little... This guy's never been anything other than welcoming to you. So, the look on his face tells you, you know, he'd like to apologize, but likely cannot.
Mm-hmm.
You just,
all right.
take care.
Very well. And I will go off to my carriage, keeping an... I'll look both ways, coming out the door, and...
Sorry, I'm listening, guys. Anna Banana had an upset tummy this morning, and she just had a little bit of cheese. She just came in, so I just want to make sure. If she is sick, I'll just step away for a moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thought she was worried about Golag, maybe.
She's very worried about Golag. I mean, always.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You okay? Actually, just talk amongst yourselves for a moment. I can feel her tummy gurgling, so I think we're going to have an incident in a moment here. I'll be right back, guys. Sorry for this.
Yep. No worries.
I've got a bit like Golag after all that stew.
Indeed. I was kind of hoping it would, there was a possibility that the end of the Tupa would have reset relations, but it seems that this has persisted through the Tulpa situation.
But was that before or during that? I can't remember.
I mean, I had in my mind that it was... Can't hear you, Basil.
I think it started before. So, and it would make sense if your father knew something about the attacks and connected it to your mother, then he probably wanted you out of the field.
Because of the killing machine by an orc, by a soulbinder.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, he knows or he doesn't know who the killer is, or has a suspicion or something.
But that this is directly connected to the fact that I have similar characteristics to the killer. You think that it's, as always, it's a peculiar reaction from Dad. This is his concern. This is how I know he's worried. Is by freezing me out. That's love. It's just pure, unadulterated fatherly love.
Yeah, or maybe, I mean, you were also, before you were told not to meddle with the Ministry of Internal Security. So I guess it's about you not being on their radar as the person you truly are. Maybe you would be much more interesting to them.
Maybe easier if he just said that rather than told everyone at the bar not to pay any attention.
That is, I would say that is somehow. I mean, the law of narration dictates that you can't be told such things directly. That
there's rules. There's rules
Yes.
about these things.
Yes. And I guess, I mean, you're a prince without your knowing, so you might inherit a kingdom. So
it's hard. It's hard. I don't know. It's hard.
Yeah.
So we all have our crosses.
Yeah, I mean, it will turn out that everyone is in secret is a ruler of some strange population of people.
Basil, don't try to identify with the situation. I know it's tempting, but it's my cross to bear. It's okay.
Yes.
Okay, so false alarm thus far. Where do you wish to go next, Goldag?
And nothing odd around the carriage. I'll cautiously approach to make sure no ambush.
I mean, other than the car bomb, but no, nothing other. I mean, you knew about that, right? So.
Yeah, I did.
Why don't you give us first of all, everyone gets a hero point, and then give us a perception check, please, Goldag.
And by car bomb, I assume you mean the dent that my staff.
There is no dent anymore.
It's gone about 500 feet in the air.
That dent will be in my mind forever. Ever.
The dent will be in your mind ever?
Yes.
With
We'll try
that
it
roll, I can tend to agree. You want a hero point then?
Yeah, I'll hero point it. Hero point it. Go, and there we go. Nope.
So I think it's one of those situations where, like, you're just looking around in so many places so quickly, it's tough to... Are people looking at you? Should they be looking at you? Why aren't they looking at you? That's suspicious.
Yeah. What, and how good a neighborhood is this? I can't recall around the Tuscan.
Middle class. Not as rough as what the Barrowhead Mission is, but not nearly as nice as where what is it? Shadow Eliminations Detective Agency is located, nor the nicer parts of town. This is a working class pub.
Let's see here. Where do I wish to go next? We have a dinner tonight?
This evening, correct.
What was that gentleman's name again?
Dr. Ransom Babwell, I believe.
Yep.
Okay, over here. Come on.
Depends whether you're brave enough to go and see Barnabas Steele.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I am. I mean, it's probably just prudent not to go alone. I don't know if they do something daring or some nonsense. I would say that. I mean, it's an unusual situation that I think I would hesitate to. Well, I mean, not terrible. He seems like such a wild card, overt threat. Is that organization and him in particular? But I think it's a good idea. I think if we win as a group, it's a good idea. It's a particularly good idea, or at least one other. I don't know.
I think on your own it is potential. Yeah,
It's like an invitation, almost.
Yeah.
To mischief.
Take you in for
Right.
questioning.
At the very least, he'd be, maybe it would tempt him to take even more tempt him to take a intimidation tack, perhaps, to lean on me, in essence. And then I'd be tempted to use magic, and it would all get out of hand. So I'd probably wait for more. Probably wait for and I don't go by myself too many places, and so it's kind of odd that I would hesitate. But I think in this case, it's a. Let's see, where else would I possibly on my own would make useful sense? Because I could always go to the university, but I don't want to jump the gun on that. There's a few things to be done there involving the painting, involving Professor Fole. That's not his full name. I'm having his name somewhere. What was it again?
Watson Fole.
Watson Fole, thank you. So I think that's a good place, but once again, it could be more interesting with the more group dynamic. No need to jump. There's not a timer on that. That could almost be a summary meeting once we're all done with our individual. I don't know. Anyone have a suggestion of?
Well, me and Basil were going to the university.
Yeah, we are
Probably.
In principle we should already be there while you were drinking yourself.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I did spend quite some time.
We might get he might speak more openly if you're not there, maybe. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know if it'll have
any.
anything. Yeah, about the painting. I don't know if he would.
Yeah, and also he's friends with Sir Archibald, so there is this connection also. And
Oh, you should pursue that. Yeah, that's a good one. See if he knows anything.
yeah, last time we talked to him, he was very concerned about his friend, but there weren't any clues, and the few clues we had were connected to something completely different, namely this vampiric serum and the Ghoul Father. So
That's all gone a bit quiet as well, isn't it?
I think it hasn't gone a bit quiet. I think we just never took it up.
Well, that's what I meant. It hasn't, it's not in our face, as it were. It's not been thrusted upon us in any way. So it's probably still going on in the background, but we haven't investigated or looked into it. But yeah, he's been missing a while now, hasn't he? Archie?
Yeah. Feels like more than a year, but who knows?
Oh, was it that long?
It depends on how long our
how long I was at the Tuscan Tankard?
No.
That was a proper lock-in.
I think he was already missing before we started to go on to deck at the sea. On deck on the sea.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
That is too long. Because speaking to him would be handy, but that is a long time. I can't think of anything at the moment that would be particularly useful for me to go on my own.
Unless there's anything you want to follow up from the last mystery, just clarification on anything, whether things have returned to normal. But I can't think of any of them really. So
Right.
you're speaking to him tonight anyway.
Right.
Okay, so where, Mr. Golag, for the afternoon, where would you like to go next?
I think I will, since I've been away it's been hours, right?
Yeah.
I may drop by. I think I'm going to drop by I have the thought of dropping by the university because I think it's in my mind that Dr. Ersprung and Basil will have already been there for some time. Like that was one of their spots.
Yeah.
I'll just see if I can catch them. They may already be gone because I've been at the Tankard so long.
Okay.
But I will, so if they're there I'll come in some period of time when they're already there or they'll have already left. Whatever.
Sure.
Whatever's the case.
Okay. So you're heading to the university then. Ms. Dumer, where were you headed after your meeting with Ms. Carrington?
I could go and join the others at the university. But what I might do is tail Miss Carrington and just see if there's anyone tailing her.
Okay.
Might that work?
So why don't you give us a stealth check then, please?
Sorry. Mouse not playing.
Sure. Okay. So that's going to be the rest of your day then, is following her.
Okay.
So you see her meeting with a person at a, you're not sure who this person is. They are they live in a, definitely wealthy neighborhood, but in the lower end of wealthy as far as the place is concerned. She meets with them for basically the rest of the afternoon, and then Miss Carrington leaves and heads off to back to the offices of the Paridar Times.
And I don't see anything untoward.
You can give us a perception check.
Ooh, I'll try that one again.
Okay.
Well, that's as good as it's getting.
As far as you can tell, there is no one following her, no.
Okay.
Okay. Basil and Dr. Ursprung, you arrive at the university. Actually, let's bring us on over to the university. Let's see here. We've been using, I think... What are we here? Oh, I'm too far down, that's why. Here. I think for our campus. So, you guys arrive at campus. We see the usual, slice of campus life stuff that we typically see. And you're making your way over to the College of Divination, I believe, to meet with Professor Morris Watson Full.
Mm-hmm.
So let me check to see if he'll be in or... Let's see here. Okay. Oh, thanks, THX. Yeah, Anna Banana, she's emptied her tummy now, and she's laying down again. She's very good about coming to tell me when she's going to be sick, which is why I kind of thought that was probably going to be... You'd asked about it in chat. So she's lying down comfortable now. She's just having a upset tummy day. Here is... Professor Watson Full. Now, he is not at the... When you go to meet with with him in his office, you find his office is closed. And you do not have the relationship with this, department secretary the way that you do with the conjuration department secretary.
Yes.
But you guys could ask. That is likely the person to ask. Or you could knock on another professor's door and see what might be afoot.
Yeah, maybe we could do that. I think I would just maybe ask, isn't there some student or so just to some person just to ask whether they know whether Professor Watson Fowl is coming today, or
if you ask a student, they have no idea. If you stop someone in the hallway, there are other professors who would have offices here, and there is the department secretary you passed.
Yeah, okay, so then let's go for her. I mean, if someone knew.
Okay. Why don't you give us a...
He might be just teaching, mightn't he? So.
Yeah. Why don't you give us a a diplomacy check, please?
Yes, I will. Ooh. That is, I will re-roll that one. That is, it can't get worse. That's
No.
Just well.
Yeah, but it won't
Not a
get
lot
better.
better.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, aiding another is a reaction, so Dr. Ursprung, you could technically try and assist with that if you'd like.
Yeah, why not?
It's pretty good. That's actually a crit, so that'd be +2. That's a 19 then for it. So let me just take a look at the difficulties here. Okay. So you come to the front, and you can see that there is let's make her an older tiefling woman who has her hair kind of drawn up to accent both like a bit of a bun and then also her two fairly prominent horns. She's got spectacles on the edge of her glasses, or the edge of her nose, like teetering in that way that makes you think there's probably something magical about keeping them there for the time. and she is sorting through some paperwork when you walk up. And without looking up, she says, "Yes."
Yes, I'm very sorry to interrupt, but we are looking for Professor Watson Fole. Is he?
Have you tried his
available?
office?
Yes, we already did.
And what did you find at his office?
He wasn't there. We knocked. There was no.
Then you've discovered it.
Ah,
Look at that.
is.
There was no need to interrupt me. It seems as if you found your answer yourself. Again, not looking up yet.
Yeah. Okay.
If you don't
maybe.
immediately walk away, is there something else? Still not looking up.
No, I can't. I can't imagine anything else to ask you. Very sorry to interrupt you.
She sighs loud enough for you to almost feel it in your chest. And then she turns and looks at you over the spectacles. Would you like to make an appointment with Professor Watson Fole?
Oh, that is an option. We haven't thought of that.
She gives you a look like she's trying to gauge. She's like, is it sarcasm or are you stupid?
Yeah.
Without taking her eyes off of you, she very slowly rotates her chair around so that she is now in your direction. A pen comes out with much flourish. And then she slowly looks down through her spectacles. And when would you care to meet with Professor Watson Fole?
When is he? When is he available next? Or next? When is his next availability? Whatever.
Eyes are back above the spectacles. He has availability this afternoon.
Oh.
Are you students? She says, knowing the answer, looking at the two of you.
No. We are more like his friends, but I'm sure he wouldn't matter. He wouldn't mind us
She
waiting for him.
sighs back in her chair, exasperated. I am responsible for the scheduling of the academic calendars for the professors in this department, not
Yes.
their social calendars.
That is such a pity.
I take it that you are not professors yourself, you are not faculty?
Have a guess. I look at Adam. I think we should go.
Scandalized by your rudeness. She looks back down. I have you in at 2:30 this afternoon.
So yeah. So
I
write down
suspect I
Dr.
can...
Adam Ersprung with a company.
Dr. Adam Ersprung, and which company?
Basil Rathbone.
Basil Rathbone.
Yes.
The detective?
Yes.
You're Basil Rathbone, the detective.
Yes.
Puts her pen down. She stands up to look down at you. You're Basil Rathbone, the detective.
Yes.
If your matter is urgent, Professor Watson Fole will be finishing his lecture in about 15 minutes. You can likely catch him between meetings if your meeting will not be long.
Oh, thank you. So where is this lecture?
Farrington Hall.
Okay, so we will go there. Thank you very much.
It was nothing. It was nothing. And she sits back down again. So, if you guys do leave, you do find, the lecture hall opens up, it spills out, and then Professor Watson Fole is, you can either try and, meet him before he leaves the lecture hall, or you could try and just wait for him outside. What would you prefer?
I don't know. I mean, there will be students waiting for him, I suppose. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's 1 or 2 students talking to him, and having known Professor Watson full, you know it's going to be a while. Like you can see like there's probably like the next professor has come in and begin setting shit up while he's still talking to students to be like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. So the good thing is just to show that we are here, so he will realize we want to talk to him, so he might finish
Wrap
his
things
conversation.
up. Yeah, so I think if you clear your throat or something like that, he will kind of finish up with his students and let them go, and he'll hustle up to you guys. Then he'll remember he's forgotten his lecture notes, go back down, grab the lecture notes, and then run up to you guys. Basil! Adam! What a surprise! What brings you here? I didn't think that you would be interested in the intricacies of etheric and astral interconnections.
You would wonder that maybe we are indeed, but that's maybe for another time.
Oh? What can I do for you? I do have another lecture in 15 minutes, but...
Yes. We can maybe talk on the way. We are here because you know that we gave this painting to you, and we have some more details about it, maybe, and we might share our information.
Painting. Oh, yes, of course. I have the painting back with notes as well.
Oh, yeah. So, great.
It is in my office.
Yes, so...
I think I'm free at 2:30 this afternoon, but Dottie should let you into the office. Just tell her that you're a friend of mine.
Is she a tiefling?
You've met Dottie?
Yes. We had the pleasure.
Don't let her... Dottie is... It is a rare person who can hold the others in my college. Ask anyone who is not a wizard, they will tell you any wizard will act as if they know everything. It is worse with diviners. It is a special personality who can serve as a secretary for such know-it-alls.
Yes. I can totally understand that. Yes.
Do not let her. She is an imposing presence. Dottie's a good egg, though.
Okay. So. Yeah. Okay. We can. Yeah. Sure.
I have that there. Was that simply what you wished? Was to collect the painting?
No. We wanted to share information about it. So we have some information on Golag, and that might be related to the painting and the whole situation.
I see. If you wish to talk in more detail,
we'll do it later. I guess. I see. Yeah, no problem. We'll meet later. So thank you.
Definitely. And it's a lovely day for a stroll around the campus. But if you've had your fill of the smog, the campus pub.
Yes, we could. Yeah.
Then
thank you.
Now, see you at 2:30. Be sure that if you let Dottie know, she'll have it in my calendar.
Yeah, I think she already has, somehow.
I would not expect otherwise from her. We'll see you then. Goodbye. So it is, I think, around... where would you guys go to kill? You've got, like, about 2 hours to kill.
Yeah,
more.
Somehow I think I must I think I have to convince Adam that now that we are here, it seems very, very important that we have a look at the other faculty for the conjuration, because we have to see again how that if something has changed there. I'm very, very keen on finding out.
Okay.
If you want to sign autographs, you go and sign autographs.
And you put it like no, but yes, maybe.
So, are you just like hanging out on campus, like on the campus itself?
No, I would try to find Cloyd, but I mean, I wouldn't say that I would try to find Cloyd. Just
sure. Give us a diplomacy check, please. This will be a gather info. Let's see what.
Yeah, I'm good at diplomacy today. Yes,
Nat
actually.
20. You were heading your way into the what do you call it? The Conjuration, the building where the College of Conjuration is located, and Floyd is leaving the building as you were walking in, and almost kind of walks into you, and then does this kind of like double take when he realizes who you are. And it's this little kobold guy who makes Basil look, tall.
Yeah.
And his mouth is just open. He's likely not going to have find his words until you do, Basil.
Yeah. So hello. I remember. I remember talking to. How was the Leshy called?
Professor Galberry.
Professor Gall. Yeah, I remember talking. Yeah, to Professor Galberry about you. You're one of his students, aren't you? It's. Oh, was it Cloyd?
And he it's a squeak that comes out. Floyd.
Okay. So, I heard that you are how to say somehow very interested in our cases and the way we work at Shadow Illuminations.
You guys are, because of your investigators pick up information. You can see he's got one of the Penny Dreadfuls about your stories in his hands right now with his other books, and he kind of pulls it in closer so you don't see it. There's another squeak. That's about as much as you're going to get out of him as a yes.
Yes. So, as we happen to meet here randomly, would you mind? I have this coin. We used it in I don't know. I used it as a distraction in one of the cases. So maybe you would like to
he immediately, much faster than can be reasonably understood, he spouts out all the particulars of the time that you actually use this thing in the case.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I see. You knew about it. Yeah. So I would like to give it to you as a gift.
There's another squeak that comes out. Are you sure?
Yes, very much so.
He shakes your hand, dropping all of his books, and you can see there's 3 different Penny Dreadfuls that he's been reading about you. Oh, and then it goes down, he drops the coin, and he picks up the coin, and it's a big production of him collecting everything. Once again, he is very grateful to you. It is drawing a little bit of attention how much of a production this has become.
Yeah. So have a wonderful day. Dr. Erzbrung and I, we have to move on and continue our last investigation.
Okay. Oh, of course. So he thanks you once again and goes off, and you can see he's just he almost walks into another person. He's just looking at this coin as he's walking along. And as you're seeing him walk away, you look over, and then you can see, who's that fellow with the scarf and the goggles who's kind of walking around like he's lost on campus?
Oh. Golag?
Golag, you hear someone call your name.
No. There you two are.
Yeah.
Golag, a little kobold, you don't need to make a reflex save, but a little kobold almost walks into you. He seems to be holding a coin in his hand.
I beg your pardon.
Sorry. And then he stops and he realizes who you are and is kind of like... And he's watching you as you're walking over towards where Dr. Ersprung and Basil are waiting.
Hmm.
In light of the warning you received from your colleague, this little fella does seem to be particularly interested in you.
Suspicious.
Most definitely.
I'll get to Dr. Ersprung and Basil and say, I was warned to keep my eyes open. At the Tuscan Tankard, no luck in speaking to Father or even Skulldug. Unfortunately, my father's freezing out continues for the moment, but but I was warned. Apparently, while I was there hoping to see Skulldug walk in, actually, the bartender was given some news that he did not directly share with me, but it was obviously pertaining to me and led him to give me a warning to keep my eyes open, inferring a threat. So, and I look back over my shoulder at that suspicious individual.
Mm-hmm. Do you think your father's already involved in this investigation, or somehow? Or trying to protect you, maybe?
Unfortunately, it's hard. It is impossible to infer much, even further information from my morning. But we're left with thinking it wouldn't be surprising. But I wasn't able to confirm, really. But I suspect it's kind of hard to imagine he's not. But I don't have anything to base that on.
Nevertheless, maybe you shouldn't travel on your own in future. For the foreseeable future, anyway.
Yeah, given that warning, like that's the only thing I was told, other than being left sitting there.
So, when Golek says he's maybe followed, so maybe I'll look around.
Sure.
To spot someone.
Give us a perception check, please.
Yeah. Let's try. This, I think I will choose another hero point to do this again.
Okay.
Come on. It's not my day.
As far as you can tell, I mean, someone could assist with that if they wished, as a reaction.
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
Okay.
Oh.
So that is +2. That makes it a 24. As far as you could tell, I mean, there is one very conspicuous-looking kobold who has his eyes trained on the three of you and nearly gets walked into because he's just obstructing the path. Apart from that individual, can't see anything else.
Yeah, that's
and just to be clear, unfortunately, the nat 20, that's only applies to the aid another, and it does not mean that the perception is a crit. So.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so I think we are safe here. So, we have a meeting at 2:30, so we have some time here. You want to go for a drink? Well, maybe I smell that he has been drinking already. So,
I would think.
You say you would
Indeed.
drink?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's an excellent idea. Time for lunch.
Yeah, the university pub seems to be very much recommended here. Let's go there.
I've got a meeting with Miss Ravencroft this afternoon, so I might have to leave it to you two gentlemen to see Watson.
Mm-hmm.
So I might try and head to the coroner while you wait for your meeting.
So the coroner, I'm not sure you got time to see the coroner before, with commuting and whatnot, before you meet with, Dr. Raycroft's daughter. But yeah, you could, if you're trading over, Golag and Basil will meet with Professor Watson Full, and you're going to go and catch I mean, do you want to roll sleight of hand to get the keys, or? No, I'm kidding.
No.
No, I mean, I would. I mean, if Adam said he wanted the keys, then I could certainly arrange it for the keys to land in his pocket.
No. I'm still treading carefully on that subject. So.
Exactly. That accident technically doesn't even exist in this reality anymore, but you are still on the hook for it.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll sort of slowly make my way to the meet Evelyn Ravencroft instead.
Okay.
This afternoon.
So then, if we'll give.
Yeah. Maybe I would talk to Golek a little bit more about what's going on.
Okay.
But,
What are you gonna tell him?
No, I would just want it, but Sean isn't here, so.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So why don't we do Dr. Ravencroft's or Dr. Earthsprung's meeting with?
Yes.
Oh, here we go. So then, it's a couple of hours of killing time at the pub that you guys have. Oh, 1 second here. Okay, perfect. So why don't we do this? We'll do your meeting with Ms. Raycroft. So you catch a cab down to her neck of the woods. She doesn't live with her father, but it's not, it's in that same affluent kind of area.
Okay.
And she is likewise a well-off individual, like her father. She did not follow into the medical professions, but from what you remember, she is a scientist of another variety, a chemist, you believe. So you arrive. Any thoughts or concerns before you arrive?
The letter just said a meeting, didn't it? It didn't really give me any indication or information on it. So,
and I think the relationship you can expect with her is kind of like to such that it does exist, you would be seen as kind of like a favored stepbrother. So I don't think she would have been an adult with her own life when you came in. So it's not like you guys were raised together or anything like that. But knowing the interest that Dr. Raycroft took in you, then she would likely have the same. She would likely support him in that.
Yeah, so I think I'd be quite open to have a meeting, and no suspicions of any sort.
Okay, so you're completely unaware of the ambush. That's great. Wait, there's an 8. Hold on. I may have read these notes out loud. 1 second. Never mind. Nothing. So you arrive at the residence. I'm not sure you've ever been here before.
No, I might have met her, obviously, when I was younger or when she was younger, and maybe visiting her father. But other than that, I don't think I've probably been here, no.
Okay. So you ring the bell. It's answered by a servant. Good afternoon, sir. Are you expected?
Good afternoon. Yes, I was invited by Evelyn.
Please, come in. Dr. Earthsprung?
Indeed, yes.
Might I take your coat, sir? And would you care for anything?
No, that's fine. Thank you.
They sees you into the salon where you can sit down, and you can see there are, it seems that she has been taking advantage of the new, technology, because there are some of those, new images that are making the rounds, photographs effectively, of her and her father around here. And you can see a painting of the two of them, her, Dr. Earthsprung, and his wife. Now departed, unfortunately. But clearly the painting was when they were younger, because Dr. Ursprung looks younger, and not Dr. Ursprung, Dr. Raycroft looks younger, and it must predate the war because he has both arms.
Yep.
So you're sitting down, and then you hear someone walk in and say, Adam. And turning, you see Evelina Ravencroft. Or is it Raycroft, not Ravencroft? Let me change that. I think I keep changing that every second time I say it. This new reality, guys, it's a little uncertain.
Yeah. So Cloyd and Floyd and so on. So it is, things are changing.
Definitely. So she says, thank you very much for coming, Doctor. Thank you very much for coming, Adam. Please have a seat.
Yeah.
She turns and asks for that tea be brought in. She sits down. How are you keeping?
Well, yes. Yourself? It's been some time.
It has. Very well, thank you. I hear that the mission at, where is it?
Barronhead Clinic, you mean?
Yes. It has been doing well.
As well as can be expected, but you can always do with more help, as you can imagine.
Of course. I hear that your charitable initiatives, or the fundraising, notwithstanding a unplanned interruption, was still quite successful.
It was indeed. I was very pleased with how it went.
It certainly made all the papers. And she thanks the assistant as he brings the servant brings in the tea, sits them down. She puts tea out for each of you. Adam, I hope you don't think me rude, but I wish to speak frankly with you. You and I do not know one another all that well, and I know in past my father has spoken very highly of you. Would that be okay?
Please. That's the best way.
Adam, what happened between you and my father?
I don't know if you know of another like myself.
A young boy.
Yes.
I'm aware of him.
Adam, as
Yes.
I call him. And also, it seemed a sister of mine.
I was not aware of that.
I'm trying to remember her name now. What was her name? Oof, that was some time ago.
Her name is... Where is she here?
You see, everybody in Paradise forget it.
AKA, where is she here? Evie Eisinger.
Einzigartig, yeah.
Oh, Einzigartig, forgive me.
Yeah, it means unique, so she's unique.
Entschuldigung.
Yes. So I'm not sure how much involvement your father had with this other patchwork individual.
You think he did have involvement?
She certainly tried to convince me of that. And
the young boy,
spoken since, really.
his name is Adam as well?
Yes.
And you think my father involved with him as well?
I don't know what to believe. That's the problem. He never mentioned him, so and I haven't spoken to him since to really clear it up.
Do you intend to speak to my father again?
I would not be against it, certainly.
As I'm sure... She picks up her tea. You have a different relationship with my father than I. But I can tell you that whatever affection you may have felt from him, it was genuine. Truthfully, I do not know much of my father's work, particularly his work with the government. And perhaps that is for my benefit. But I can tell you whatever he did or did not do, it did not impact his affection for you. I think you can take any kindness he has shown you as a genuine expression of his feelings. I would not be surprised either to find that he was indeed responsible in some way for your... Is creation a rude word?
No, I feel it's accurate.
Or that of Adam the Younger. This Evie, did she tell you who named her?
I don't believe so.
Would you give us a perception check? Dr. Ersprung. At 20. You can see her hands are shaking just ever so slightly. She's clearly quite upset about something.
I'll reach forward and do the classic sort of holding her hands between my hands, like in trying to reassure her and steady her.
And she looks up and like you can imagine the hulking, again, flesh warp, form or whatnot would look at, but as soon as she sees your eyes, there's just that reassuring look in them. She sighs and she says, Evie was my father's name for me as a child. To this day, he still... It is my... It is how he knows me. And she kind of collects herself and puts her tea down. She puts her hand on yours as if to say thanks and then releases them. I have little doubt that my father is responsible in some way for your creation, for that of this Evie. and no doubt for young Adam as well. Now, I confess I know my studies are in chemistry, not medicine or physiology. But as the child of a physician, you must understand there are certain things you just come to know. Have you noticed yourself aging at all, Adam?
Not really, no.
Then might I be correct in thinking that young Adam may not either?
Not that I've seen.
Do you think he understands that yet?
Probably not. We haven't had time to discuss it in more depth. I'm trying to protect him and shelter him for now. He's had a rough time.
I can only imagine. And with a brother who is so often in the limelight, one can imagine it is only a matter of time before he will be Adam. Whatever my father's involvement was in this, it seems a great unkindness to force someone into existence perpetually as a child. Would you agree?
Yes, if he was responsible, I don't know why he felt the need, well, as we say, to create little Adam. Or myself, if he did indeed.
I could speculate, but it would be only speculation. And I feel that that would yield us nothing. I have given great consideration to this and to the nature of the relationship between you and my father. Adam, do you think that the boy served as he is now, do you think that best for him?
I mean, I don't believe he should have been, well, as you put it, created in the first place. I'm only striving to make his existence as happy as it can be. I don't know what else I can do in the situation.
And with the time you have available. Adam, I know you have good reason to suspect my father, certainly, and good reason to perhaps by association, view me with suspicion as well, which is why I wanted to meet with you in person over this. Adam, my husband and I are without children. But we would welcome Adam, the younger, as our own. And we would like to do so. I wanted to meet with you to seek your approval in doing so.
I'm glad you've brought this to me, but it's little Adam's approval that you would need. But obviously, I would need to meet with yourself and your husband and introduce you. I would like little Adam to have his own family.
And would you like that to occur here? So Adam might see where he may come to live.
I would discuss it with him, see what he wants. But that may be the best option. But be assured I would be looking out for him.
I would expect nothing further, or nothing other than that from a brother. You can see she looks very relieved, and she looks very happy.
Mm-hmm.
And because you're net 20 on the perception, I think you can see that her eyes very briefly, and tries to not dwell on it, but it goes down to look at amongst the things that are on the table, there is some papers there as well, folded up. I was
going to say, have you had some bad news or something that's brought you to this decision, you and your husband, of not thought of starting your own family?
We are unable to start our own family. So
I understand.
But the Heavenly Host has a plan. It seems as if I know that Adam would have unique requirements, but he would want for nothing. And if you willed it, then he would not meet his grandfather until such time as you approved. You would have my word on that.
Well, I will certainly sit down and have a conversation with him and put this to him. See what he thinks.
Could you send word tomorrow?
I will try. Yes.
Please do. We are eager. There is arrangements that would need to be made. Thank you, Adam. Thank you very much for your kindness. And she will, if there's any other chit-chatting or whatnot that you wish to do, you're welcome to do so. And then she will see you out. Anything else? So anything else you wish to ask her about?
No, I don't think so at this stage. No.
Okay. Then it remains to, as Dr. Ursprung is leaving there and heading back to, I'm assuming, the offices, Basil and Golag, you have your meeting with Professor Morris Watson Fole.
Mm-hmm.
So, you arrive back in, and
before we get to him, I might mention to I don't know if perhaps because this with the painting's been around for a while and the concerns of I think Basil in particular, well, Dr. Ursprung too. I may bring up. I think it's well. You could tell me if you think it's reasonable that I bring up with Basil whether he should have the meeting by himself. I will offer it to Basil. It seems reasonable because we've talked about this painting a lot and Basil's concerns. I'm obviously directly involved. So Golag will say, so Basil, if do you think there's any validity to you doing this on your own with Professor Watson Fole? I know you've had concerns of considering that I'm directly involved with this. What are your thoughts here? There's an option here. I don't mind if I want this to be useful.
Honestly, knowing now the backstory, I have much less concerns than before. Because it seems to me that these pictures were just putting you in a state where you would remember fragments of the life you led before, or something like this. It's not like we Adam and I, we were fearing that you were somehow controlled or pulled over to some side. And I guess that this isn't the case. So I don't think you would interfere, and I think Professor Watson Fole will understand, or Morris will understand. I think we can be very open here, and we should be. But there is still the problem with the Order of Saint Sylvester. They in this reality, they still believe that you're the one who does the killings.
Golag corrects you by saying they know that I did the killings. I mean, we don't know who did the killings. What are we talking about? I don't remember. You want another drink?
No. Yeah. I just wanted to equip myself. So, like as if you were practicing necromancy or such things. That would be ridiculous.
That is a weighty stare that now lays upon your shoulders.
Such coarse words for such fine practices. Very good. Well, and we're referring to my bare-chested picture atop a ziggurat, and apparently where I'm a prince.
Yes.
You think that is reality at all? You think that is a past I've had?
I think that is something you might have encountered, or that is something that is so close to your thinking about you in former times that it is very much real enough for you to get these memories back, or to point to you at the other life you could have lived if you had stayed there. My I don't know. My guess would be that your mother sent you away in order to keep you safe, but who am I to know?
And then there is my father's role in all of it, whatever it may be.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Do you know whether he dabbles in the same arts as you do?
Do I know, Kevin?
Definitely does not.
Oh, he does not.
Does
I know he pretty much know he does not. Yeah.
100% sure he does not.
Okay, so but maybe he was also one of her loyal soldiers, or I don't know if you know about the back. So we don't know about history so much. So you don't know what your father did before.
You know,
or
your father
something.
did not serve in the war, but if he mentions it that way, like having met so many veterans over the course of your life, because there is so many veterans, not only in your employ, but also folks you've met over the course of your business. Your dad definitely carries himself like an ex-soldier. An ex-commander even. Like, this is a guy who is used to saying shit that people listen to in a way that makes people listen to him.
And I mean, I might be wrong for saying and even thinking that, but let me just put a question out there, and then you can find the answer yourself. And I'm very, very sorry if that offends you, but are you sure that he is your father?
Well, do I have any factual thoughts on that, Kevin?
I mean, you guys look an awful lot alike.
Then I wouldn't ask. Then I wouldn't ask, because then that's not. But I was more thinking.
I mean, it would be orcs. Like among orcs, it'd be easy to see the familiarities. If you're not an orc, you may not recognize those similarities, but there is. You also have an eye for those kinds of particularities. So I think you would, because you're an investigator. I imagine you would see the familial. If he's not his son, he's got to be a close relative of some capacity.
Yeah. Okay.
Because if I looked a lot like Harker, that would be disturbing.
You've actually had that luxurious hair up the whole time. You just put it down and
No. Okay.
You could see where Basil was going.
Yeah. No. That wasn't my thought. My thought was more that he's someone who was sent away to protect you and with you. So.
Indeed. Well, very good. I think all of that seems pliable, plausible.
With him being to protect you, there's something else. I'm not sure you've had confirmation of your father working with the Ministry of Internal Security beforehand. He definitely warned you off working with them during the investigation of the Brimmer Rack, when you guys were looking into that renegade priest. But that news story and the story that Harker tells, that he was working hand in hand with them at some point. You've always known your father has a tight connection with all the folks of industry in Paridar. Industry and government, unfortunately, goes hand in hand in a place like Paridar. So if he's trying to warn you off from working with them, was that professional envy, or was that actually trying to protect you?
Yeah, I mean, it could be both.
I hear that orcs are like onions.
And he's always known more. He's undoubtedly always known more about my origins than I did. I would think, even though for Harker it comes and goes, maybe it comes and goes for Father too, but he knew more, whatever it was.
Yes, but I think if you tell him that you know something already, that might change things.
Yeah, the prompt to rattle the cage.
Yeah, and if I guess, I mean, just my guess, if he is really protecting you for all these years and keeping silent about it, then maybe it's within him to just he does want to tell you after all this time, maybe, but he couldn't so far.
And I was hoping to make some of these points to Skulldug. I mean, to allude to them, to rattle my father's cage through Skulldug, but I just never got to see Skulldug. So
yeah, and Skulldug is his uncle, so his father's brother. we suppose.
It's not
Or
my
is he
blood.
more like a patron or something?
Yeah, it's like
godfather?
a close family relative that you call, Uncle so and so. That's who's
Yeah.
Skeldig.
Consigliere?
Very much so. Yeah.
Okay.
He is Orcish. What's his name? What's the actor's name who plays the consigliere in Godfather? Yeah, I can't remember.
Glenn? No. I don't know.
Yeah,
I won't get
remember.
it.
I know
Okay.
you're talking about though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That word too. It's just consigliere.
Good stuff. Yeah. Same reason I'm making use of publican as much as I can. That never comes up in day-to-day life for me. So
Right.
Then
we can go in. I mean, that's good.
You wish
that's
both to
good.
go in?
Good chatter. We'll both go in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you go in, and it appears that Dottie is busy at work, and by which I mean she's got a early edition of the Paridar, the Paridar Daily News before her, or not the Daily, the Paridar Times. And as you walk in, she looks up, and you can see on the front page as you walk in, facing you, because she is deep inside something else, Attack on Dak is the front page news of the early edition of the Paridar Times.
Oh. Maybe you can ask her for the paper.
We'll have to find out in 2 weeks' time. So that brings us to the end of part 1 of the Queen of the Veiled Sun mystery. So, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for part 1 of our latest mystery in the Spires of Paridar campaign. Apologies again for Anna Bananas having to step away. She's been sleeping peacefully since then, so she's on the mend, I think, from her tummy attack. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. There's also a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, where we have a channel dedicated to the Spires of Paridar campaign, as well as most of the other campaigns and games we run on the channel. There's also a link down below. So there's also channels for finding a group, GM discussion, virtual tabletop chat, assorted games. There is a really terrific, friendly, knowledgeable, and helpful community over there, and you're more than welcome to join us. There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. Not only do they have an incredible selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs, including things like, I don't know, The Dark Eye RPG by Ulysses Spila, or, say, Fantasy Craft by Crafty Games. Some that just happened to come off the top of my head. If you make a purchase of $10 or more through their website, be sure to enter the code Happy Musier. It is listed in the description of this video. It's easier to cut and paste than it is to say. That'll save you 10% on any purchase of $10 or more through their website, and it'll change as of April 15, 2025. So if you're listening to this after that time, just come back to one of our more recent videos. You'll see what the current discount code is. And if they don't have something in stock that you're looking for, you can put it on a want list, and they'll send you an email when it comes in. And then you can feel free to make a purchase through their website and enter the discount code and save yourself some money. The last thing I will say is an enormous thank you to our stalwart illuminators. So, Sean, James, Ingolf, and Darren, thank you so much for joining me today, guys. This was a lot of fun. Yeah, a lot of answers, or a lot of new questions to be asked, I think, rather than finding answers. But we'll have to find out what happens in 2 weeks' time. But for those listening at home, once again, thank you so much for joining us. We hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our illuminators are uncovering as we're learning more about the familial connections with Golag and his as-yet unmet mother. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, and happy gaming.